You are now watching a clip from the Inspired by show. You can watch the full episode on our YouTube channel or listen on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. So make sure to head over there, leave us a 5-star rating if you enjoyed it, and follow the show. Because we talk about the financial stress, we talk about the physical and the tangible, but it's actually the mental that I find is, for me, is the hardest. Now, I haven't had a family yet, but I have dealt with a lot of depression and anxiety in my past. And that's been something that I've been, if I can openly share, been a bit worried about when I do become a mum, because I'm like, what if it comes back? Have you ever had those feelings around your mental health of, facing, overcoming what you've overcome with your depression, anxiety, and your postnatal depression that you mentioned on your show and here?
Look, I mean, mental health is no different to physical health. It's something that he's working on every single day. And if you don't work on it every single day, the same way if you don't work out every single day or a few times a week, then that six-pack or that physique that you've worked really hard for is going to slowly but surely disappear. So I don't see that as being any different. I think I am someone who... do I even believe that? I don't know. I was going to say his disposition towards depression. I don't know. I think I had a lot of challenges growing up. I think there was probably quite a lot of deep-rooted psychological trauma there. But I also truly believe, and this is a very unpopular opinion these days, that we're all responsible for our own mental health and we're all exactly where we deserve to be. Does that mean I'm skipping out of bed every morning? It's all sunshines and unicorns. I was going to say uniforms. school uniforms on the brain. It definitely is uniforms every day. And of course it's not. And do I always take my own advice? No, I don't. But I am someone who tries their best and puts disciplines and habits in place to ensure that I have the best possible chance. And that's why I do exercise regularly. That's why I do have an ice bath every single day. That's why I do breath work. That's why I am really interested in nutrition and take the best supplements and connect with people who are at the top of their field within the health and well-being space as well, because I don't accept that version of myself. And whenever I do find myself taking a dip, I'm also quite self-aware and I do reflect. And again, it's taking that full ownership, looking in that accountability mirror. Is it because I'm feeling some sort of financial pressure like we spoke about before? Is it because there's something that's making me feel less secure in that area? Is it because my self-confidence is waning? Well, self-confidence wanes when you don't keep your promises to yourself. So if you do miss that run that you said you were going to go on, if you do go a few days without having that ice bath because you're accepting your own bullshit, then it does start having a knock-on effect. And of course, you can do absolutely everything right and still have bad days. That's life as well. And, success to me isn't living in a utopia where you're happy all the time. That is a false reality. And it's actually learning to embrace the negative emotions as well as the positive emotions. This whole "it's okay not to be okay," well, that's all the bollocks, isn't it? I mean, it really is. What are we saying? We're going to accept depression? Let's just, go and take medication for the rest of our lives, which is going to have massive long-term effects on us. And I don't say that from a place of judgment. I say that from a place of somebody who spent a decade on hardcore medication. Like medication to sleep, medication for my anxiety, medication for depression. Like there was just all these different combinations of medication. And really, there was very little accountability from me to actually manage my own emotional state. But I don't know about you, Chloe, but actually when I go through these periods of darkness, which I still do for complete transparency, I still have them. I still have days where the dark dog bites. I feel like you learn so much more about yourself on those days. And the key is, again, going back to the resilience, it's just getting through them. And going back to the point you were making about the kids, well, I have had periods where, obviously, the one I was telling you about in 2016, I had a 4-year-old daughter at that point, and you try your best to shelter them from it. But 2018... when I started getting into property and self-development and having this personal accountability, I made a really stupid decision to come off all my medication. I've been to a conference, like a big event. Grant Cardone was over in Glasgow. It was brilliant. He was a keynote speaker, fantastic event. And he was having a conversation like this to us, the audience. And I was lucky enough to get to go out for dinner with Grant. We had lunch the next day and stuff together as well. It was absolutely amazing. And we were chatting about medication and mental health. And it really helped me to realise that I didn't need to be on that path, and I wasn't happy. Like, the whole point of it, if I'd have been skipping around, leaping about, then amazing. But after 10 years of being on every concoction of antidepressant you can imagine, I was overweight, I had no sex drive, I was miserable, my self-esteem was on its ass, like I had no confidence, I was having panic attacks, sometimes I couldn't even leave the house. It was quite debilitating. So I made what I believe was the correct decision to come off the medication, but I did it in a very stupid way. And I just basically stopped cold turkey, which I would never advise anyone to do. You know, go and see a doctor, do it sensibly, reduce it in a way that's not going to have serious ramifications like I did, because I came off that medication. And again, I don't really share that openly with people, but it's as close as I've been to taking my own life. I think if I didn't have children, it would have been a different outcome. I didn't see the point in living. It was so dark. I really struggled to get out of bed. And again, going back to the fact that success is subjective, success to me at that point was getting out of bed. It was brushing my teeth. You know, I was throwing myself these little cookies, as David Goggins, just get out of bed, just brush your teeth. Even if that's all you do today, this is me talking to me, just brush your teeth and then you can go back to bed. And then I brush my teeth and it's like, just, you know, have a quick shower. You don't need to do anything else. Just a 2-minute shower. Just freshen up. You'll feel better. You can put your pajamas back on, but have the shower. And then the next day I might have the shower and it'd be like, just try, maybe just put a pair of joggers on. You don't need to leave the house. You don't need to see anyone. Just put some joggers on. And that's how I was doing it, you know. So success for me at that point was genuinely being upstairs and present and making breakfast for my kids. Thankfully, they were all quite young. I don't think they particularly realised how bad it was. I've got a really supportive husband who was able to shelter them from it, which is really important as well. It's obviously a very different situation for single mums, or single dads. But yeah, that was my reality at the time. But it was a case of not stopping either, still pushing forward, even if it was the tiniest of little steps, the little baby steps. And I was still, as daft as it sounds, my commitment to myself, even on the days where I didn't get out of bed, and I did have days where I didn't get out of bed, I'd still do a LinkedIn post.
Wow.
That was my one thing for the day. Keep it going, keep the momentum going. There was something in my head that wouldn't let me fully stop, even though I felt like being on this planet was completely pointless. I also deep down knew that I would get through it, and I didn't want to stop the momentum either.
Wow, that's incredible commitment to, you know, questioning your life, but still being committed to the desired result.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely a little bit fucked in the head. Because there's going to be people listening to this going, that just does not make any sense. But I always say you've got to be a little bit crazy to do what we do.